What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top 3 must-have mods for any muscle car. So if you don't know, I've had all 3 of Detroit's muscle cars, the Challenger, Camaro, and Mustang. And these are the top 3 things that I noticed that they all needed. None of these cars come perfect. They're high value cars and they have the performance, but they have to cheap out on certain things. That's why we can't get everything with it. So I'm about to go over the top 3 things, but before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. So the top mod, and this is a must-have to me, it's the first mod that I do on all these cars. Did it on both my Mustangs. As soon as I got the Hellcat, did it with the Camaro twice, and I plan on doing it with any other future cars, is the exhaust. Now the GT350 is a little bit different because it has a nice exhaust from the factory, but I still did a modification to it. The GT350R is a special case. It has the resonator already deleted, so I have a regular GT350, so that was the first thing I did, was delete the resonator. And also the Camaro, that car was pretty good from the factory too, but I wanted a deeper tone, so I got an H-pipe and boiler axle backs on that. My other Mustang got an H-pipe on that. The Challenger, I got a mid muffler delete and an H-pipe on that, so they're all kind of muted, especially in like the regular V8 form. But let me head to City of Cars so I can finish with these mods. So they got a couple Vettes over there too, and I can show you how those sound stock cold starts. So with the exhaust, the Mopars, they don't have the dual exhaust mode where you can have the valves open and closed for quiet and loudness. So if you modify your exhaust on there, it's going to be loud all the time. And some people just go crazy and straight pipe the whole thing, and that's way too loud. The mid muffler delete, to me, it was borderline obnoxious. So straight piping, like cutting off the mufflers in the back, that's just too loud to my liking. But the Mustang, Camaro, the Vettes, they all come with like dual mode exhaust. You can open and close the valves, and I think that's a nice touch to have, because if you want to go do more things, if you want to straight pipe these, you can at least make it quiet when you want it to be. So we're with my friends at City of Cars. Get a video alike, me and for them. Alright, and this is the stock German exhaust. Hear the difference. Now that's loud. Alright, now we have a stock red eye exhaust. This one's just for giggles right here. The Huracan. Much louder. This thing is crazy. The AMGT was loud, like very loud. And the Huracan is an exotic car. But the Vette and the Red Eye, they were, to be cars like this, I think they need to be a little bit louder stock, and there's exhaust you can do, so that's why I would recommend doing the exhaust mod first. So the number 2 mod that I would do on a muscle car are wheels. Like some of these cars have good wheels, but for the most part they're just meh to me. Like these are 255/40 19s, and that's a premium wheel on the GT. These, and they're narrow, they're like very narrow to put the power down. That's too narrow for my liking. I like 305s at least in the back. It just looks better. The Corvette, these are 305 in the rear, but the wheels and tires, they're like, the tires are cheap. Like they don't put the power down, especially on the Mopars. Like these things spin in so many different gears, And that's to keep the price point low, because if I'm honestly speaking, you kind of need some Mickey Thompsons on these stock. 797 horsepower. Now this car is crazy fun, but if you change the tires out, it'll be faster. And a lot of these stock wheels are heavy too, so that adds more rotational mass, and that takes away from the performance. So a good set of aftermarket wheels and tires, it'll do you well in performance. And like just tires alone, you get some sticky tires, you can increase your performance. Lighter wheels, they do even more. On my GT350, I have almost 3 sets of tires, and the stock tires, now that's an exception because it's a track car, but the stock tires are too sticky for the street, so I had to step it down a little bit. So it comes with the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. I have the Michelin Pilot Super Sports for more daily drivability. But my other Mustang, it was just regular tires. The Hellcat, those tires suck. The Camaro, those were cheap tires too. Like it didn't. The Eagle F1s or whatever that came on my Camaro SS1LE, they were okay tires, but there's other tires out there for not that much more that are a lot better. But I do think the wheels on the Camaro SS1LE are some of the best stock wheels. I love the red-eye wheels too, and those are good stock. The Scat Pack, man, these stock? I don't know. Let's walk over to the Z06 over here. Now these wheels and tires, or at least the wheels, these are good and wide, and they add more performance because this is a track car. Regular C7 Corvette, yeah. So that's my number 2, my wheels and tires. Definitely get those changed out, because if you're not driving the top dogs, then more than likely they cheaped out on the tires from all the manufacturers. And like I said, that keeps the price point low so we can afford these high performance cars. So here's this modified GT500 that I reviewed. Now you can see this thing has some aftermarket tires. That's because it has to put down a ton of power. So the previous owner, they did it right by switching out the tires. But you don't want to just be sitting there making smoke and spinning in place. Like you got to put the power to the ground. So the number 3 thing that I would change would be the suspension. And to be more particular, like the ride height. Like American cars, they sit like trucks, and I don't know why they do that. They can be lower and they can fill up the wheel well a little more to me. So like for instance, let's take this red eye. Like the wheel gap on here is kind of big. Like I prefer 2-3 fingers maybe. I can stick 4 fingers up in here and part of my thumb. Let's look at the C8 Corvette. I got 4 fingers under here too. Let's head over to the Mustang. Four fingers on that one. Now some of these cars, like the higher performance ones, like the Z06s, you can fit less fingers. They come with the lower ride height. I'm shocked about the red eye, honestly. I thought it would be lower, but I think it might be lower than the Scat Pack. Let me see. Oh yeah, this thing is riding high too, like the truck. All right, so we got a track hawk right here. Oh, I can put a fist up in this thing. So this is a normal C7 Corvette. I think this one is lower because it's like barely 3 can fit in here. But we have a Grand Sport, which is the track version, wider and everything. And this one, I got 4 fingers up in here. Well, yeah, a little less than 4 fingers in here. So I think it needs to be just lower so the wheel fits in here with a lot less empty space. So let's take a look at a few cars in here that don't have that problem stock. Starting with the Huracan. I know this is a different case because this is an exotic car, but you got 3 fingers in here and you can raise and lower the height for here so you don't crack your splitter. This is the Huracan Evo, I think. Yep. The German cars tend to sit their wheels really nicely in the wheel well. Yeah, this thing is like 2 fingers. Let's check out the M2 right here. BMW's really good at the wheel well. This is like 2.5 fingers. And the R8. A little more than 2. So you can see the Germans, they tend to fill their wheel well with less space and more tire. And that's something I think the American muscle car should do as well. Just fill it up. It's more aerodynamic. It's just better in all ways to be lower. Just get some iBox or H&R springs. That'll fix that. Hellcat Red Eye. As much wheel gap. Got 4 fingers here. As the Mercedes, the GL, what is this called? GLE 63S. This only has 4 fingers worth of finger gap too. So you got trucks with as much wheel gap as a car, which shouldn't be in a sports oriented vehicle. So that's my top 3 miles that American muscle cars need to have. Definitely the exhaust for number 1, because they're kind of muted. Number 2, you got the wheels and tires, because they come with there's better performing tires out there. Wider wheels where you can get better performance, lighter wheels as well. And then the suspension, like that wheel gap, that's something I don't like. So there's that. And we looked at a couple other cars that do have those things right out the box. So American manufacturers do that to keep the price points low so we can afford cars like these. So you can spend more to get cars that come with that. And these mods are cheap too. Definitely the exhaust. And lower end springs are cheap too, like a few $100s. And wheels and tires do get expensive, but if you want more performance, that is the best bang for the buck. So that's going to end today's video. Thank you all for checking it out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.